Hi, everyone. My name is Sandy Kruse of Sandy K Nutrition, Health and Lifestyle Queen podcast. And we are live here at the Biohacking Congress in Miami, where there's so many of us like-minded individuals. There's lectures, there's presentations, there's so much to experience here. And right now, I get the privilege of interviewing
Nima Farshid.
Nima Farshid. I have to make sure I pronounce all these names correctly.
I know. There's such a beautiful mixture here.
So Nima, he does some really interesting stuff. I got to visit his booth. I still have yet to experience what I'm hoping to experience after our conversation.
Absolutely.
But I would love for you to explain your expertise and what you do, Nima.
Sure, gladly. So I'm a Biofield instructor and researcher, and I work with a company that's called Biowell. So Biowell works on a technology that was based on Kirlian photography. And for those of you guys that don't know what Kirlian photography is,
I don't know what it is.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So this was a science that came around in Russia in the 1970s. And it was completely based on accident. There was a couple that would work in hospitals on high voltage hospital equipments. And one day on accident, they realized that once they lift one of their tools on one of these machines, that they saw that there was a gas discharge that appeared around their tool. So this was such an amazing phenomenon because for the first time, they could actually see energy that's surrounding one of their tools.
Okay.
So they wanted to investigate this, and they wanted to research to see how they could recreate this and how they could do research and make sense of what's happening here. So what they did is that they created these photography systems that were called the Kirlian photography machines. And many people around the world, they would purchase these devices, and it was just like a hobby that people would, for example, take like a half an apple and put it on these machines and take a picture of the energy that surrounds an apple. Or they would take like a quarter and they put it on the machine, and they would see, okay, how an energy of a quarter appears around its circumference. So this became really fascinating. And what made it really, really cool was when somebody actually took a picture of their fingers. And they realized that this energy is missing in some of their fingers, but some other fingers are perfectly intact. So that became a big question of, okay, what does it mean? For example, if I have a light missing in the right quadrant of my right index.
Okay.
So this became a very powerful research in Russia at the time. And Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, with a team of scientists in Russia, with the medical team there, they did 25 years of scientific research to understand, what does it mean if somebody is missing a light on one of their fingers, because the fingers or the endpoint of our acupuncture points and our meridian pathways. So that way, it's like the information that was coming from the system was somehow getting misinterpreted.
So just to clarify, you're saying that each finger is a connection to a certain meridian within the body?
Absolutely.
Oh, very cool.
So our bodies, for some of our audience that may not be very familiar with meridians or chakras. So chakras are energy centers within our physiological system, okay? Just like a city has a power company that generates power, right? So a chakra is a center that generates power. Now we also have, like in a city, we have the power lines that takes the energy from the power company, and it will distribute it to our businesses and different homes, right? So within our system, we have our meridians, which are functioning like the power lines.
And so the meridians, okay, can you just explain, do the meridians come from the chakras, or is that how it works?
So they take energy from the chakras and they distribute it to different systems.
Oh, I've always been into chakras, but you're explaining it a little differently with how the meridians connect.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
So I like to put it in very common terms
I
so
like
that
it.
we can really make a connection and understand the science. Because it's a very complicated science, but in reality, it's what we're used to. We already have systems like that working within our reality.
Well, I mean, there's certain things that we know and that have been studied about acupuncture,
Of
right?
course.
So this is just saying that it can actually take a photo of your finger and connect it to the meridian in your body?
So what we're doing is that we're exciting the pathways. So when we, for example, our pinky is connected to our heart. So once I come and we apply a very electrical impulse using the BioWell to take an image of the reaction of that finger,
Okay.
then that electrical impulse is traveling through that meridian pathway, going through the end to that system, and then coming back out. And that's how the information is being exchanged.
Oh, very interesting.
So now we can monitor and we can see, okay, if we send this much energy to that system, how much of that energy is coming back? And if there's some of that information that's missing, that we know that there's blockages or there's, something happening within that pathway that is distorting the flow of energy.
Is it within the pathway or is it within the chakra?
So if the issue, and to answer that question, let's go back to that example of the city with the lights that we have here with the power lines. So if you're sitting here having a conversation and the power goes out, that could be an issue, right?
Yes.
And to solve that issue, we want to first see, okay, was it the power company that didn't have power? Or maybe there was a storm and there was a tree that fell on one of the power lines.
So how do you know that?
So we use the BioWell to tell us if the chakras are perfectly aligned and the right amount of energy is there, then we know that the energy systems are optimal. So then we go and we check the meridians, which we have 12 different major meridian systems in our bodies. And we get to study those through the BioWell system to see if they're overactive, if they're underactive. And then that way we can pinpoint where is the issue.
Okay. I did see a little bit of a demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's overactive, it's almost like you have to have the sweet spot, right?
We want to be balanced. Yeah. We don't want too much energy. We don't want too little energy. Always optimal amount of energy is good.
Right. And if you have, let's say, too much energy, what happens? What does that mean?
So let's say, use as an example of this light bulb in our room here.
Okay.
So this light bulb was created to operate within, like, let's say 40 watts of energy.
Yes.
So now if I send 60 watts of energy to it, what's it going to happen? It's going to become really bright for a while, and then the lifespan is going to shorten, right?
Right.
Same way for our system. So our system is designed to handle so much energy. If there's too much energy going to that system, it will still be functional, but it's going to decrease the lifespan of that system.
Okay, so your system can show that.
Absolutely.
But then let's say I do it and I find out there's too much energy in the heart chakra or the heart area. What does that mean and what can I do about it then?
So our body allocates energy to specific areas that wants to heal something there. So if you see that there's way too much energy in your heart chakra, for example, then we want to keep a tab on that and want to pay attention to it. So when we're dealing with energy, with meridians, with chakras, we're dealing with a quantum field. So there's different criteria and different rules that pertain to that specific system. So now, if you're dealing, for example, with the heart chakra, and we have overactivation of the energy in that center, then it could be either something emotional that's influencing that system, or it could be that something that's physiological, that our body is sending more energy there to heal something. So in cases like that, we like to have multiple data points from a person in order to really understand, like, why is there more energy sent to that system?
So you mean multiple readings?
Multiple readings, yes.
Because that can change too. Let's say, okay, here's a good example. Let's say I just had a fight with my husband and he really hurt my feelings.
Hopefully that didn't happen, but
no,
if
it didn't.
that did,
No, he just misses me because I'm traveling without him, of course. So maybe his heart is hurting right now.
Exactly.
But so this changes, but what we are looking for are patterns.
Exactly. Because we are such complex system that with every thought, every emotion, we are rebalancing our energy systems. We're realigning our chakras. So in this complex system, then what we pay attention to is the statistics of statistically, I can't say that word right now, that how many points of repetition are within that field. And the more and more we get repetition, then that means that we want to really pay attention to that system.
I guess because everybody's different, you don't have a specific, like, you need 10 points at a reading over this, and then you've got a problem. Like, that's not how it works, is it?
Well, we actually have, we know optimal ranges of value in the system. Just like we talked about the light bulb.
Yes.
That is like, it's operated, it's created to function with so much energy. Our systems are the same way. So we are functioning, the different systems in our body are designed to function with 4 to 6 joules of energy. And joules are units to measure energy, just like we use inches for length.
Okay. So let's say my heart is operating at 8 regularly all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then that means I need to do a little bit of work in
Absolutely.
that area.
Yes.
And that could be in terms of trauma,
Mm-hmm.
or
Definitely.
it could be that there's actually something physically going on.
Could be.
So how do we decipher that? How do we figure that out? That's the complicated part, right?
Yes. So as far as emotions, what we look for is that we look for the alignment in the chakra balance. So the chakra, or another term for it, is nervous centers.
Mm-hmm.
These are the centers that will that are influenced by our thoughts and our emotions. So if somebody's more balanced and they're on top of their energy bodies, then they will have just a very little bit of a fluctuation within their energy centers.
Oh, cool.
But people that are not practice, or they don't have that focus in life, then once we scan them multiple times, then it's like a different person every single scan. And there's a reason for that. So we can actually use that information to help that person to see where, in what areas there is the most variation of data.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the points that we want to really focus on that person.
So how do you clear it? What do you do?
So then depending on if it's an emotional issue,
Yeah.
then we'll have like a conversation about like you forgiving your husband, so that you don't have to carry those emotions with you.
Or does he forgive
Or-
me for leaving him?
Or he should have
right?
stopped missing you. And like, maybe, so we deal with emotions when it comes to our energy centers. That's how they're
Yeah.
regulated. But now if that's already manifested into the physiological system, and this is the science that we study, that the biofield is giving us information 6 months to a year before something actually is manifested into our physiological system. So then depending on when we scanned you, then we'll have more of an understanding of, okay, whether this is a physiological system that you're dealing with or is more on your emotional side. And then we'll make you the right recommendations to see a specific practitioner, to see a specific doctor, so that they can do further testing, so that we can use a collaborative effort in an integrative way to be able to help you to gain health and wellness.
Okay. Well, so that kind of makes sense. It's almost like saying, here's a test that is not diagnostic.
Right. We don't
Well,
diagnose.
There's no diagnosing, curing, healing diseases. But here's a test that's saying, there's something going on in the heart chakra, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can okay, tell me if this is weird, because you obviously know a lot about chakras.
A little too much, yes.
Okay. Not too much or too much?
A little too much.
A little too
More than
much.
I want to know.
Okay. Maybe this is a really weird practice, but I'm a big believer that everything has a vibration. Everything
is energy.
Yes, exactly. And I've heard people dismiss the validity of crystals having vibration.
Okay.
What do you think of that? Do you think crystals have a
I think
vibration?
everything has vibration.
Okay, good. We're on the same page there. So a practice that I personally love, and I just kind of started doing this. I know that selenite is a very great crystal for clearing.
Clearing, yeah, very powerful
Right?
crystal.
So what I started doing a while ago is I started clearing my chakras with a selenite wand. And, it's kind of funny because my husband, who's at home right now, he's like, he's never seen that I do this, but there's this selenite there. He's like, okay, whatever. And I joke around with him because I'm like, I'm clearing your heart chakra, and I put it on his heart. Do you think there's any validity to this.
Absolutely.
You do? Okay,
Oh,
okay. You don't think
absolutely.
I'm just weird.
No,
But-
no. I mean, I work scientifically to prove these kind of,
Yes.
information, because that's really powerful to the work that we're doing, because we have a technology now that will give us real-time analysis of changes in the energy field.
So cool.
For example, when we're talking about your heart, we can scan your system, look at the energy of the heart, or where it is or how much it is out of balance.
We're going to have to do this after, by the way.
Then we could have like a green aventurine or jade or something that you can put it on that center. And because, like, what is a color? A color is a frequency, right? Is a vibration. So different things that have the different colors, they have similar vibrations and frequencies. So now if you want to bring your heart back into that balance, then that piece of quartz crystal or the emerald or whatever that you're dealing that has that specific color and that frequency, then that will really help your heart chakra to come back into balance through the laws of resonance.
I love that. Okay, so you don't think I'm weird?
Not at all. No.
Okay. These are just, I am a big believer that there are many ways to heal
Absolutely.
the body.
I mean,
there are so many ways.
Yes,
So you have a unique story too.
I do.
And I didn't ask you about it. And I think that it's important to talk about it.
Sure, I'd love to share.
Yeah. How
So,
did you get into all of this?
Yeah, how did I get into
Yeah.
all this madness?
How? Usually I ask that at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
But, I think now is a good time to tell me.
Absolutely, yes. So this was about 10 years ago, and I was operating a very successful multi-million-dollar company, and I started to have severe heart palpitations. So I went to my regular doctor, and I wanted to get a checkup, and they hooked me up to an EKG machine, and they told me that I have an abnormal EKG. And they rushed me to a cardiologist because they told me that this is very serious. You don't want to just put it in the back.
Right?
So I went to the cardiologist the same day. They shot me with dyes. I run on a treadmill, and for a few hours they did a lot of testings on me. And then they came back and they told me that I have to put a pacemaker, that otherwise my heart could stop beating as soon as like a few weeks from now.
And you're a young man.
Yeah, especially at the time I was a semi-professional soccer player, so I
Oh
was
my
like very, very
gosh.
active. And this just became as a huge shock to me. That it wasn't. I kind of like knew that I would have to deal with. Hopefully, I didn't have to, but because of our genetics and the issues that goes in our family tree, my grandpa passed away when he was 41 years old from a heart attack.
Oh my gosh.
My father had to place a pacemaker at age 31, and every single male in our family has heart issues and have electrical issues to their heart. So my goal in life and my mission was to become a heart surgeon. And I really wanted to understand the cardiovascular system so I could take this curse off my family. And I was pre-med at the University of Florida. I got accepted to a gifted program there at age 19 to clone genetic material there. And I had a very deep understanding on science and like being a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got to the pre-med programs, I kind of lost my interest in I have a lot of respect for today's medicine, but I realized that's not the way I wanted to heal people. I wanted to work on the emotions. I wanted to work on the root cause of issues that is the cause and the problems in people's lives, rather than fixing it after that they appeared in their lives. And going through this process, I decided that I didn't want to do a surgery, and I decided that I'm going to take this chance. And, you get one life. I'm like, what would be a more beautiful way of me doing research and experience in life to see how I can help humanity? And if I would be, alive at the end of it, great. If not, then, what a better way to go. So I quit my company overnight, and I started to travel the world. I was registered for a whole bunch of different seminars and conferences about biohacking, holistic healing. And I learned how to meditate and how to work with sound healing and Reiki and all these things that were completely foreign to me, and I would just discount them, and I didn't want to even do anything with them. I realized that, oh wow, there's so much science. There's so many people that are benefiting from these natural modalities, and even crystals. I started I would go to different events, and they would bring different crystals. Somebody would have a headache. They'll put a specific crystal on their body, and within a few seconds, the headache will be gone. Mm-hmm. So all of this just gave me so much information that maybe we're missing something, like, based on what we're taught in our schools and, like, through biology and this and that. So I started to look at life in a different view after all this education and all this knowledge. And I was working on myself. I was meditating every day. I was working with doing like water meditations, and I would just learn from different gurus or masters. And I would feel like my system is getting a lot better. Like I'm not, I wouldn't get palpitated. Like I wouldn't get triggered like every week. I would get like maybe once a month after starting to do this work. So I knew something I'm doing is really working. It's helping me, but I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And having a very analytical mind, I'm also a software engineer. So I changed my major from pre-med, and I went to software engineering. And I have a very analytical thing. I'm a very powerful, logical thinker. So in order for me to let something change energetically within my system, first it has to go through my mind. And my analytical mind has to process it first.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I would allow my system to accept it. So for that reason, I needed something scientific. I needed something that could analyze and could give me some data to put my analytical mind at ease, for me to say, okay, I have proof here that this has worked based on the research that I've done. And then I would allow that to make a change in my system. So going through this and doing all the researches that I've done, I mean, it's brought so much information to me about using the Biofield technology, because I can get real-time analysis.
So how often do you use your own device?
So I used to use it every single day when I was going through my healing journey. But after 6 months of going through my practice and like doing my meditations and like really work on my system, I realized I don't have palpitations anymore. And this is
And how long now, Nima?
This is 7 years that's been passed now.
That's amazing.
And I never did a surgery. I never took any medication for my heart. And just with my own mind, by working on my emotions, by working on what wasn't really residing with my higher self, and working on those issues, on those emotions that weren't really high vibrating, that's how I was able to really reset my system and go through that journey of healing, because I created the environment for healing for myself.
I think you made an important point right there. We need to create the environment to heal.
Absolutely.
And then we have, okay, I don't know, some people may not agree with this, but I do believe that the power resides within us.
Of course.
And then we reach out to whatever modality might actually resonate with us.
Absolutely.
Because I'm not saying that, I can just snap my finger and heal everything in my body, but I do believe that it starts here, right? It starts here. And meditating is very powerful. What type of meditation do you resonate with?
So, going to the science of meditation and the reason why we meditate, and just to hit a little bit on what you just shared with us.
Okay.
So when we were talking about this, chakras or energy centers, what is a chakra? What are the energy centers, right? We really need to get to the bottom of that. Once we have an understanding of that, then it completely changes our perception on health and wellness. So if you look at the chakra system, you will realize that the alignment of the different colors of the energy centers are just like the rainbow.
Yes.
So we have the red color that's first, and then we have the purple that's last. Okay? And this is because of the frequencies that are included in white lights. And what is a rainbow? A rainbow is the white light that gets refracted to its forming rays. Right? So now when we have white light that refracts to 7 major colors, and then as we study the chakras within ourselves, that we see those 7 colors are within us, then there's a lot of ancient philosophy and there's a lot of religions that tell us how we have a light body, which is that wholeness that resides in every single one of us.
Now, did the whole chakras thing come about from Ayurvedic medicine? Is that where it was first discovered and developed?
So chakra is an ancient word that means in Sanskrit.
Okay.
That means wheel.
Okay.
So it goes, way back to the ancient times, but Ayurvedic medicine is one of the most known ways that they work with the energy centers and the chakras.
have you ever studied Caroline Miss? I think Mice or Miss, MYSS.
No.
She talks a lot about that. She talks about how different, even, we're talking about the heart chakra. We're talking about different energy centers. We talked about the men in your family and how they all died. Sure, there's a genetic component there,
Yeah.
right?
Past lives.
Right. There's a genetic component, but then, she talks about how certain experiences in our childhood can cause blockages.
Absolutely.
I think one of the things that she talked about was the root chakra, and then the connection to the root chakra being blocked because of not having a great childhood, right? Like
Not being grounded.
not being grounded, and then what could possibly be alcoholism, and there's diseases that she's even connected. All of it. It's very powerful, but I think that there's so much more than we even know yet about the energy within our body.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the wholeness that resides within us. For us to understand that wholeness, I don't think it's possible.
Maybe when we're not here anymore on this planet,
Maybe
then
we're
we'll
a part of the energy
I
field,
know it
then
now.
we'll get it.
I know it now. But seriously, like there's just so many things that you can't really explain. And I have, do you know Dr. Bradley Nelson? Have you ever met?
Yes.
Okay. So I recorded with him on the body code, the emotion code.
Yes, powerful.
Very powerful. And so, it's like I like to take practices from different practitioners that I meet and create something that I resonate with.
And that's the beautiful part of healing.
Yeah.
Is because healing is so, how do I say it? It's so like particular to different people. Healing is not the same for two people.
Nope.
And that's why we have to see what resonates with us and what we allow to heal ourselves. And that's a lot of science and a lot of research goes behind that. That if you believe that taking medicine is going to heal you, then that's your modality. That's what's going to help you.
Yeah.
But if you believe essential oils are going to help you and you truly believe in that, then guess what? That's what's going to make that difference in your system. Why? Because you are the one that's healing yourself. And you are the one that's giving permission to anything else to even influence with that system.
You said it right there. You're the one who's giving the permission, whether it's to a doctor, whether it's to an ancient practice that you actually resonate with, whether it's whatever it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, but you need to give the permission
And
to
the
heal.
intention to heal.
And the intention. Wow. This is a deep talk, Nima. I wasn't expecting this.
I know.
I know. So, do people buy this device?
Yes.
So they buy the device and they have it at home and they use it, like you said, you used to use it every day, but now just whenever. Let me ask you this. What about when you're at a conference like this, where there's so many different energies around you? See, I'm always like, well, we're kind of in charge of our own energy.
With your intention.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's true, though.
Everything is our intent.
So if I'm allowing my energy to fly around everywhere,
Then so it will be.
it will be. Yeah. So what do you do other than meditation? What else do you do to stay balanced? And are we ever really perfectly balanced?
So we are never perfectly balanced.
I think I'm perfect. I'm going to go and do the machine right now.
Because as I said before,
I'm just kidding.
chakra means wheel. Wheel is something that rotates.
Yes.
So there's this like misinformation of people thinking that their chakras need to be like perfectly in a straight line. That could happen for a dead person or for like a metal piece or something that doesn't have emotions. But if we're alive, we have emotions, it's almost impossible for us to be on a steady line. But what's important is the fluctuation, is a degree of fluctuation. So a wheel, imagine like, when you're driving your car, you have 4 tires. If your tires are aligned, then you have a very comfortable ride.
Yes.
But as soon as one of the tires starts to get a little bit misaligned, then your entire ride is shaky. And that's just like with our system. So we have 7 major wheels that if these wheels are nicely aligned, then it's heaven on earth. That heaven, this becomes our heaven because everything becomes perfect. But as soon as there's a little of a misbalance, whether there's an emotion that doesn't align with that wholeness, or there could be something external that's going to be messed with that balance, then that's where the chaos comes in. And from chaos comes disorder and disease.
And it's about the consistently being out of alignment. So, one day it's going to happen, right? Like sometimes you just have an off day, right? Does that make sense?
And that's fine.
And that's fine, but it's the pattern.
But it's how long does that stay? How long do we hold on to it?
That makes sense. So can you give us a rundown of what each of the chakras are responsible for?
Oh goodness, do you have like 5 hours?
Okay, let's do Cole's notes.
We can go quick. Yeah.
Cole's notes. Yeah.
So first chakra, which is our root chakra, has the color red, and that is usually the center for our security, our financial life, our worldly, like our pleasures and the way that we're enjoying our environments here.
Okay.
So that's our safety and security. And then we go to our second chakra, which is more related to our creativity, and that's called the sacral chakra, and has the color orange. And that is more related to our creative self, and is directed by anger. So if we get angry, if we have anger within our system, that can easily block that energy center. And then we go up to the solar plexus, which has a color yellow. And the solar plexus is in charge of our kind of like the zest for life, our self-confidence. And it's also really affected by fear. So if we have fear in our life, then that center can get this misbalance. And then we go to the heart. And our heart has the color green. And that's the center for love, compassion, and how we communicate through the different way of emotions. And then from the heart, which is the center for our responsibility, obligations, we go up to our throat, which is our throat chakra, has a color of a light blue, like the sky color. And that's our center for communication. So if we are communicating, if you're not holding emotions within us, and we're able to verbalize what bothers us, that is a very good practice for that energy center. So I see a lot of women that hold on to their emotions and they don't speak.
Do you not see?
Yes, you will get cut.
I don't
if you
have
hold
a
on,
thyroid, so.
I always tell women that emotions are like a broken glass. That if you hold on to them long enough, it will cut you.
Yes.
So that's our throat, and we need to make sure that we speak our truth and we speak our reality. And then we go to our third eye. That's the center for intuition. And that has a color of a deep blue color. And that's the sense that when we have like an aligned third eye or intuition, then we get, it's almost we get pre-warning about something before it happens. And you always get like a sixth sense or a feeling that if that center is aligned, that we can really trust that feeling, and that becomes really powerful in our lives. Then after the third eye, we have our crown. The crown has the purple color, which is the highest vibration, highest frequency. And that's our center of spirituality and our connection to source. So now when these are aligned, it's like all of our emotions and everything is directly communicating with our universe, with our reality. And that's when we have the power to co-create. But when these chakras are out of balance, then it's like this energy wants to come up, but it just doesn't have that zest to want to just gush out of our heads and connect to the universe. It just comes up and it dripples down.
Or it's blocked somewhere, right?
Which is kind of like the picture of a blocked energy, that it doesn't have that full connection to the universe to communicate your truth with the truth of reality.
Wow. It's very powerful, actually. Now, you also, do you have an app as well?
Yes, so when I was going through, as you can tell, I've had to do a lot of research. I've been to a lot of seminars. I'm getting my PhD now in natural medicine.
Really?
And my field of study is light.
That's amazing.
Thank you. And I use the biotechnology as my tool to prove my the data that I'm collecting, and my dissertation is based on that. So now all of this information, you know, I have to somehow educate our new practitioners that are coming on board.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I mentioned or not, but after a while of working with this technology, BioWall actually was so impressed with my research and what I had done with myself that they invited me to become a part of their global team.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm one of their major educators and distributors now. So, and I have over 1,500 practitioners around the world. So now what I do is that I've created an educational center for all my practitioners or for anybody that's interested in learning more about holistic healing, about how to take charge in their lives and how to, take control of their thoughts and emotions.
Right.
So we created an app that's called lightworkersapp.com.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a platform that's online, and it's also a downloadable app that we have many educational courses on there relating to crystal acupuncture, to chakra balance, to meditation, all different types of natural ways that we can work on ourselves to empower ourselves and empower our communities. And we have weekly and monthly meetings on the app. I bring top speakers, top scientists of our time, and they share their information with our platform. So that's a way for me to educate my practitioners so that when they have this technology, then it's a lot easier for them to use the modalities that I have researched on for the last 7 years. And I have many data collected that proves how like different modalities can influence different issues. So now we're just creating a collaborative community of lightworkers that we can take this information to our different communities, our different cities, and help to raise the vibration of our planet.
I love it all. I love it all. And it's interesting because today has been a little bit of a theme for all of my interviews where it's a blend of science with a little bit of the esoteric and spirituality.
Yeah.
And I think that, well, not I think, I know that is actually the path to holistic. I'm a holistic nutritionist, but I always spell it. I like it WHOLE, whole, because what makes us whole is really aligning body, mind, spirit, and soul. In my book. And I'm actually writing a book about that. So there you go.
That's powerful.
Well, I'm an English literature graduate, so writing is my passion. I went back to college to do this and to work with as a practitioner. But, I'm like, this is really powerful stuff. And there's so many ways that we can do this. But you have to pick what resonates. But there's many practices out there.
Yeah. And we live in a 3-dimensional world, right?
Are we going to talk about 5D right now?
No, we're just going to talk about 3D. No, we don't get too much
okay.
details.
I thought we were going to go talk about 5D because that's going like so deep.
Yes, we don't get that deep.
Okay,
but
okay.
As far
we can another time, but.
Okay. So as far as health and wellness, I mean, we live in a 3-dimensional world.
Yes, we do.
Right? We have a physical body, we have a mental body, and we have an energetic body. So once we have issues within our system, it just doesn't make sense to only focus on one aspect of our reality. So, we have our medical doctors today that have done an amazing job with the research that they've done. They've saved billions of people, and we have to respect that medicine for emergency cases.
We do.
Right? And we also have our psychologists and psychiatrists that work on the mental body. And at the same time, we need to have energy practitioners that are masters of the energy body to be able to complete this cycle so we can truly, holistically, in an integrative way, go about healing people.
And then maybe move to a 5D world.
And then the 5D is once you work on your chakras and you have yourself all aligned, then your understanding of life changes.
Do we ever get it together? Really? But, it's funny. Even when we talk about meditation, did you ever use the Muse meditation headband? Do you know what that?
I have used it. I've tried it.
Okay. I used that for many years because I am 100% one of these people who's like, am I meditating? Am I not meditating? I don't know. And so I liked the actual ability to see, okay, I was in a meditative state for this long. I'm not saying, but it didn't resonate with me anymore. And I've moved to different methods. And this is what we're talking about, how we need to find
customized.
So like this thing on my wrist, it's Nucom. I don't know if you've ever tried Nucom, but right now Nucom's really speaking to me. I also love Brain Tap, but I love visualization. I love all of those modalities. And, you know, there's never just one road to get there.
No, and we always say that if you increase the modalities that you're working with yourself, you increase your power of healing to the power of the number of modalities that you use.
That's good because I use so many. I have a lot. So
we're such a complex system. That, you know, more ways of going about you know, influencing this system and adding more information to it. I mean, the quicker we can kind of like go through that journey.
This has been such an amazing conversation. I would love for you to tell everyone, how can people find you?
Yes. So if you guys are interested in the conversation that we had here, of course, our app is free. Anybody can join our platform. You guys can go to Light, workers, plural, and then app.com. And you can register for free to our application. And we have a lot of free educational courses there. And we meet on there on a bi-weekly basis. And you guys will have direct access to me. And we also have my website that I work as a distributor and a global educator for the BioWell technology. And you guys can learn more about that technology at Gaia, Gaia, healers.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nima.
Thank you for having me.
This was a
beautiful conversation.
Absolute pleasure. And thank you to everybody who's been at this show. It's just such a great show. Lots of great like-minded people.
Thanks for watching.